Nope, not if you ask. Not every day. That's all right. Correct your teeth for her. Ellie, do you want this back?
3 times 4 equals 12. 3 times 5 equals 15. 3 times 6 equals 18. 3 times 7 equals 21. 3 times 8 equals 21. 3 times 9 equals 27. 3 times 10 equals 30. 3 times 11 equals 33. 3 times 12 equals 37.
Okay, get with your math partner. Get with your math partners or partner. Sam, Ellie is with you and Grace today.
If you get bored, you can look up here.
Sure.
Happy Halloween, Merry Christmas.
Okay. Your math, give me 5. Your math message is located on page 316. And it's right here, this top part that says math message before it says number 1. So with your partner or partners, I want you to figure out the math message, which reads on page 316, it is estimated that the average lifetime of a person living in the United States is about 75 years. About how many days are there in an average lifetime? How many hours is that? So get together with your partner or partners and try to brainstorm how to solve that.
Can we share that at morning? Now, what does the question have to do with? What does the question have to do anything with the top thing?
Because this one is saying how many days are there in an average lifetime if a person lives on average 75 years. How many days is that? That's what they want to know. And then they want to know how many hours is that. So make sure your partner's not doing all the work. You got to do it together. Lauren, do you want to move to that table so you're not getting distracted?
Oh, you move over. I'm moving. I can't. Please. I can't.
Be patient, Gavin, or you move and Lauren move, honey. But remember, we're trying to work nicely on our tone of voice with our partner.
This scenario doesn't even help you. In the back. Oh, can you use a reference? What?
You may also use a calculator. I probably should have said that at the beginning.
Don't use a calculator.
No, you can totally use a calculator. These are going to be big numbers.
I know, but that doesn't mean that.
No, it's not. Sometimes if I say you can use a calculator, that's not cheating.
I know, but we don't feel like using one.
And it's a lot of big numbers.
Oh my god, it's totally the wall clear. There we go. I mean, it's not divided by. What the heck? Fraction. Got it. It has something to do with fractions, I know that.
Nope.
Why? Wait, I have an idea.
Okay, are we almost ready?
No.
Okay, one more minute. I'm going to set the timer so I don't forget.
How many hours? Oh, I know. 24 times 12.
No.
What? 24 times 25.
Yeah.
So 24 times 6 grand. 180 so here's 8,000. Yep. And then 8,000 times that number. 7, 3, 5, 7, 25. What is that? Yeah, that's a huge number.
It's going to be pretty big because it's 75 years.
I can't figure this out.
Oh, that's like an Asian face. I don't know. Okay.
Is it?
All right, let's go over this because I know it's going to be hard. So, it is estimated that an average... Please stop the drumming. I did not hire a drum set or a drummer today to serenade me while I teach math. I know, it's hard to control sometimes. But you need to figure out, you need to start learning how to control that. It's estimated that an average lifetime of a person living in the U.S. is 75 years. About how many days, on average, how many days are there in that lifetime? So, let's figure out first, if we're talking about 1 year, how many days are in 1 year? Sam? 365. Now they want to know how many days there are in 75 years. Don't you go to the bathroom. Okay. How many days are there in 75 years? So what do you think we have to do to figure this out? Because we know this is going to be, is this going to be a tiny number or a huge number? Huge, because in 1 year there's 365 days. But we want to know how many days there are in 75 years. That's a lot. So Chloe, what do we do?
365 times 75.
Yes, so 365 times 75. So punch that into your calculator. 365 times 75. 365 days times 75 years is 2,000. Nope, not 2,000. 27,375 seagulls. Days. Okay. So now, let's figure out if that was how many days there are in 75 years. When I read that this morning, I realized, wow, I'm not even going to live to be 1,000,000 days old. That's not even close to 1,000,000.
1,000,000 days old?
Because I always thought for some reason 1,000,000 so much, but I could live a lifetime in 1,000,000 days. Nope, that's not even close to 1,000,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad. So human beings don't even get to live 1,000,000 days.
If you make it to 100, you might.
No, because multiply 100 times 365. 100 years times 365 days in a year. That's 36,500 days that you've
You
lived.
mean my Aunt Trick has been living for that long?
Yep, which isn't really that long. About how many hours is that? So now, let's do another table. If we have hours and days, actually it makes sense to put days on the top. Ellie, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there like almost 200 days in the school year?
Yeah, something like that.
Even if you
170.
made it to 100, that was a no big
Well, we already had our 100th day. So how many hours are there in one day?
What?
1 day. 24 hours in 1 day. So now we want to figure out, in our 27,375 days, how many hours is that? Figure that out with your partners. I don't know. Just double check it.
That would be
Yeah, it's okay. I think you need to take that bracelet off. I really think that's irritating it. Zach, figure it out.
24 times.
Did you guys already figure it out? Are we ready? No? Alright, I'll set the timer.
No, but that's not the answer though. I know. So, yeah. So, didn't you divide? No. Now we go times 75. What? Yeah. That's okay.
No.
What
did you do?
That's right.
Let me see. No, you multiplied 24 hours by 75 years. That's not right. Because you don't want to do, you need to figure out how, then if you wanted to do hours times years, you have to figure out how many hours are in a year. So instead, we have how many days there are down here. And now we're going to figure out how many hours are in one day.
Yes.
24. This equals 75 years.
So I would do that times 24?
Yep. All right. How do we figure it out? How do we get the hours in 27,375 years? Ellie, what do we do?
You do, hours?
Yeah, how do we figure out the hours up here?
Well, you do, 27375
So 27,375.
times 75.
Nope.
Got it. No.
Because you know why, Ellie? Who can remind Ellie what 27,375 represents? Seagulls, muffins, toenails. It represents the hours and how many years. It represents, the days and how many years. Oh, that was like a graveyard.
And then,
Wait, no, we can't move on yet because you don't know what this number means.
No, it's like hours.
In what? In one day?
No.
In?
Year.
This is an hour.
Year.
We're trying to figure out the hours up here. What is this
Well,
number?
you do that times.
No, but what is this number? Who's going to tell me what this number is?
27,375.
But what is it? What does it represent? Muffins? How many Christmas presents I'm going to get? Days in what? Days per what?
Hours. Days per hour.
Not days per hour. What?
Years.
Could you imagine if you lived 27,375 days in 1 hour? Whoa! Sam?
How many days are in 75 years?
How many days are in 75 years? That's what that means. Okay, but I need you to be clear because I want you to understand what this is. Because if you multiply this by 75, that doesn't make sense. We're talking days right here. 1 day is 24 hours. We want to know how many hours are in 27,375 days. So, what do we do? Zachary?
You do. Oh, come on, I just lost it. You do.
And Zach, before you continue, I don't want people zoning out right now.
I'm not doing it. I'm just.
Okay, so 27,375 multiplied by?
27,000. What?
I'm going to write days after this so we know what this is.
Yeah, times 24.
24 what?
Yeah.
Calculator?
Days.
Calculator?
Hours.
Hours.
And then plus equal, and you get 657,000.
So 657,000
We didn't get that.
hours.
We got it. We got it.
You did it a different way. What way did you do it?
We did 365 times 24. No, times. Oh yeah, times 24, and we got that. And then we times that by
What number did you get for that?
I forget. Oh, we got we got something else, but cause we got that answer, and then we times it by something.
So, but 365 days, so that gives you how many hours there are in a year.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
then
8,760 hours in a year.
And then we times it by 75. Yeah. Times it by 75. That's what we did.
So now let's multiply this by 75 times 75 years. But you did something wrong, because look, it's I got the same answer.
Yeah. This is what we did. We got 239 million.
That's not right.
That is not right.
What just happened? All right, well, you did, but you know what? You did the process right, so something calculated wrong. And it must have been your finger. All right, 657,000 hours. That's all the hours an average person will live. That's it. It's not a lot. Then they live longer. But remember, we said an average person is adding up all of the Americans and dividing by the population, and that's the average person. That's like the median, or the mean, rather. All right, let's do number 1. Let's do number 1. Use the data from the above math message to help you answer the following questions. It is estimated that a person sleeps about 214,000 hours in one night. Is that right? Okay, so what's an average lifetime? We need to go back to the math message. So write that down near there. 75, Lauren, go close that door. 75 years, YRS. Write that near there so you can remember that. 75 years. So that's how many hours somebody sleeps in their entire life. Okay. At that rate, about how many hours per day does that person sleep? So, how are we going to figure that out? How many hours per day does this person... We do have to divide because we need to make the number smaller. Ellie?
Well, there's this many, there's a certain amount of hours in the night, so then you just have to, keep, about, that.
But we need to take our 75 years and our 214,000 hours. And, I don't know, work that out with your partners. Work it out with your partners. I'll set the timer for 2 minutes. Move it away so you don't see it? Okay.
We did a rate chart yesterday.
Yeah, you could. Some people don't need the rate chart, but you can use the rate chart. Some people don't need it.
Chloe, look. Yeah. So, the 2,000 years. 200,000, 14, 214,000. I don't get it.
Well, work
Divide
out
it by how many hours are
Try. Don't just sit there and say, I don't get it. Try to figure out an answer.
Okay.
Use your calculator. Try to figure it out.
So
Sitting there and saying, I don't get it, won't cut it.
I got it. Me too.
Ask the other partners if they got the same thing.
Okay, cool. Ours has a decimal.
It might be a decimal. There might be or you can round the decimal to the nearest whole number.
Okay. What can you round it
Don't
down?
just sit there. You need to problem solve. Okay. I just don't want you to give up because I know that you are very bright. You don't have to give up.
Check with Jake. Jake's your partner.
But check in with, talk to him. Talk it through with him. That's your job, to see if you can just talk it out with him. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. No? Bye. I won't see you until tomorrow. Because I have to leave it too.
Is this one of the fifth graders thing? Goodbye, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right. Let's do this.
Okay.
So, oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this? There are a couple different ways to figure out this answer. And somebody did say, Gavin said at the beginning, let's divide. So we have 75 years and 214,000 hours of per sleep in 75 years. So how do we figure that out? Ellie.
Well, I did 75.
Why?
Well, because they're 75 years old. Well, that's like the life.
There's their average, yep.
And 2014 is how many, like, no, not years. Hours.
Yep, that they sleep.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, that's how many hours that they sleep.
all together. Then I divided it, and I got 17. Well, I rounded it 17. What? Oh, That's what
Not 2,853. So what does that number mean?
28.
Let's think about this for a second. Let's not say that this number is wrong. Who got that for an answer so far? Okay, but let me show you something. If we write that down, 2,000, because that's not going to make sense in how many hours they sleep on a night, is it? That doesn't make sense. So at least we can understand that that's not how many hours they slept in a night, but 214,000 divided by 75. What does 75 mean?
Like,
Muffins, fingernails, Gracie?
the average lifetime of a
So that's years.
Yeah.
And what is 2014? 214,000 rather? Gavin?
What was it? Hours in a lifetime.
Nope.
No. What?
Gracie?
Hours that they would sleep in. Yeah.
Hours sleeping. Okay. So when we divide that, we get 2,853. What does this number mean? I'm not going to say that that's wrong because it's not. We're working towards getting the right answer. So what do you think this number means? If we're dividing the years by all the hours, what is this?
There's one more step.
There's one more step after this. What is this? This would be, pay attention, I see some people zoning out. Because this is how my brain would solve it, but there are several different ways to solve it. This number right here is how many hours you sleep in one, what? Year. So now what do we do once we get that number?
In 1 year?
That's how many hours you sleep in 1 year.
Oh.
So now we have to figure out how many hours we sleep in 1 day. So what do we do with this number? This is 1 year, but now what do we have to do?
You divide that by 20, no. You divide it by 2014.
Nope.
214,000.
Nope, because that's how many hours. Sam, what do we do?
Divide it by 75.
Nope, because that's how many average years. This is how many hours we all sleep on average in 1 night. In 1 year. We need to figure out how many hours we sleep in on average in 1 night. I might want Jake and Zach to move to the hexagon table because you're too far away and I can't see what you're doing. What do? We all sleep on average 2,853 hours in 1 year. We need to figure out 1 day. Gavin?
12?
Nope. Any other ideas, Chloe?
Divided by 24?
That's in a day. Nope. Sam?
365.
Why?
That's how many days are in a year.
Divide that by 365 days in a year. Wow, what a wrinkle. So let's do that. So divide that, 2,853. Your math journal needs to be open, darling, when you're all settled, okay? When you're settled. You just got there. Divided by 2,853 snails.
No.
2,853 flowers.
No.
2,853 hours per what?
No.
No. Per year. Divided by 365 snails. 365 pencils?
365
Days in a year. All right. So now we come up with 7.81 when we round that to 8. So 8 is what? What is 8? Don't you dare check out. Don't check out.
What does that mean?
That means zone out because you're getting a little overwhelmed. Don't. You're going to get this. But you're only going to get it if you really stay focused. Got it? What is 8? Candy bars.
Days by year.
Gavin.
8 hours per year.
8 hours per night.
I slept 12 hours.
Did anybody, I know, but we're just saying on average, and there's a lot of dividing going on. So did anybody get 8 hours per night?
No. I get 7.
No. Did anybody get this for an answer?
No.
Did you kind of get it, Sam?
That was the only. Yeah, after.
That's a lot of work, isn't it? All right, so let's write that one down.
Is that what I
Yep, and that's why you need to be paying attention.
If that was on our test, would it be in part B?
Probably. Okay. Does 8 hours per night make sense to you?
No.
No. Well, think about it. On average, do most human beings sleep about 8 hours per night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a job.
But we're not going to go into all the little pediddly, well, this could happen or that could happen, or sometimes I sleep 12 hours. On average, in general, is 8 hours per night normal?
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, that number should make sense to you. 8 hours per night.
I thought you meant how you get to the one that you usually always get 8 hours of sleep at night if you go to sleep at like 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah. Gavin?
The average is right up there. The mean is this is the biggest
It's the mean. So you add up all of the information, divide it by how much you have.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the next one because we got to do a bunch of these. So here's the next one.
Yeah.
It is estimated that in an average lifetime, which is how many years? 75 years. So it's estimated that in 75 years, a person watches about 105,000 hours of TV. At that rate, about how many hours per day, does a person watch TV? Now, before you do per day, before we even figure out this, what do we have to figure out first? How many hours they watch in one
Day.
No, because that's what they want to know. How many hours they watch what? You just said it, Jake. Year. So, you need to figure out, and you can do a rate table if you want. On average, here's our years, and here's our hours. Are you getting dismissed?
No. What time do we usually come back?
2:15 or 2. So we need to figure out how many hours of TV they watch in 1 year. But right now we know in 75 years, don't zone out, I see people zoning out. In 75 years, people watch on average 105,000 hours. You first need to figure out how many hours somebody watches TV in 1 year before you can even do days. Do the hours. So see if you can figure out how many hours this is for 1 year. So see if you can talk that out with your partners and try to and do not just sit there and say, I don't get it. Try. Problem solve. What?
Is this mean that I'm not an average human?
We're not going to talk about like what we or don't do or don't do.
Yeah.
Okay? This is just like adding up over an entire lifetime. Okay? Figure out if you can do 1 day. Figure out, 1 year before we do a day. Try to figure out right here how many hours it is in 1 year. Talk that out with your partner.
Okay. So, what would be, so it would be, okay. So, can you calculate?
Yeah, of course you can use a calculator.
So,
Jacob Field, please do not just sit there.
105.
Just a hint. Just a hint. Let's freeze for 1 second, guys. Not to overwhelm you. But go back here. Jacob.
What?
Pay attention. This is your homework tonight.
They're recording this?
Yes. So Graham can go back on there and hear that you weren't paying attention. I want you paying attention because you know what? When you finally get this, it's going to be like, wow, I can totally do this. But in order to get you there, you have to watch the whole time and not give up on yourself. I don't want you giving up on yourself. because I'm not going to do the work for you, and you know that. You're going to need this number to solve the problem. Sam, you're going to need this number to solve the problem. So let's rethink this. If we have 75 years, you watch 105,000 hours of TV. Here's how many days there are in 75 years. That might be a certain number you can use to solve the problem. Just think about it, talk it out. We'll get that together in about 30 seconds. Yeah, you can try all different ways.
Okay. What about... Hey.
Because you're trying to find hours per day. So if you know how many days there are in 75 years, and you know how many hours somebody watches in 75 years, you need to do something with this number and this number to get your answer.
Could you do like 27
No, that would just give you how many hours are in a year.
So we're gonna do. Isn't that what the question is?
No. They want to know how many hours of TV somebody watches in their entire one day. If this is how many they watch in a lifetime, how much do they watch in one day? So here we have this number up here that says this is how many days are in a lifetime. So you need to do something with these two numbers right here. What do you think? What's 2,777? At least, you know what I gotta say?
Oh, 375. Whoops.
Okay, you're not giving us yourself. I'm not giving us. Do you want to know